Hi guys, we are back after break and we are ready to roll. We are looking at our parts of speech this morning, or whenever you're looking at this. I guess it could be afternoon or evening. But let's read our sentence. It's from the book Memphis, Martin, and the Mountaintop, which is a very long book, actually. It's going to take us a while to get through it. But the sentence says, behind a veil of mourning, she buried her love in Georgia. Behind a veil of mourning, she buried her love in Georgia. The sentence ends in a period, so that's either going to be declarative or imperative. Declarative is just basically saying something simply, and imperative means that somebody is being commanded to do something. She's not being commanded to bury anything, so this is a declarative sentence. All right, let's start looking at the sentence. As we go through, it starts a little unique because it doesn't really tell us who is doing the action of the sentence at the very beginning. It says, behind a veil of mourning. There's not really a person there. And you can tell that that's not a complete phrase all by itself. Without the other part of the sentence, this couldn't exist together. If this wasn't here, behind a veil of mourning, you can't just leave that by itself. We're missing a subject. So this is a complex sentence. There we go. Okay. That's a complex sentence. But anyway, the word behind, if I'm thinking about it, it's showing the positioning. It's where something is. So we're going to write down preposition. And the word a. Man, it's a little blurry, huh? Try again. There we go. The word a is one of our articles. A, an, or the are all articles. And a veil, think of like a bridal veil. It's that piece of fabric that women who are getting married wear over on top of their head sometimes. They're not as popular anymore, but they still exist. But a veil is a noun. And then of is something that's on our list of prepositions. We're going to prep, P-R-E-P, preposition. It's showing the positioning of the noun to like its purpose, I guess you could say. Like it's veil in the morning. Now, okay, this word, morning. Most of the time, most of us think of the word morning as you just woke up and you're eating breakfast, and that's what morning is. But this is spelled differently. This is spelled M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. That's not misspelled. That is another spelling because this word is what's called a homophone, which is a word that sounds the same as another one. So that's that fawn part. That's our root. Fawn is a root that means sound. And that, the beginning of the word H-O-M-O is another root. We don't study it in our class, but that root means same. So that means same sound. It has the same sound, but it has a different meaning. So if we're talking about a veil of mourning, and this spelling is actually talking about the action of somebody grieving and being sad. You are really upset about something happening. And you are usually, this word refers to something passing away and people feeling their emotions for that. So this is actually a verb. Action of mourning. And really, no, that is what it is. So a veil of mourning. I was going to say it's a figure of speech, but it's not. I mean, this person probably really did. So sometimes when somebody says veil of something, it's actually like a figure of speech. But this time it's not. I believe that they actually meant it. Because this is referring to Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife after he was assassinated. Okay, so we have a comma right here. Then we have she, which is Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife. But it doesn't say her name. Her name is Coretta Scott King, for those of you that know. We don't have that information. It's replacing her name. So that is a pronoun. So she buried. Buried is an action. You can physically see people doing it. It is a verb. And then her replaces her name. It didn't say Coretta. Behind a veil of mourning, Coretta Scott King buried Coretta Scott King's love. It is a pronoun. And then love, like we think of it as the feeling, but in this case, she didn't physically bury her feeling. She buried her husband, which they're referring to as her love. So I actually feel like in this case, this is definitely a noun, because they're talking about her burying her husband, which is Martin Luther King Jr. And the word in is showing positioning to this, where this was taking place in the state that it was in. So this is a preposition. And then we have the location where it happened. That's a state. It is capitalized and it's a very specific place. So that is a proper noun. Proper noun. All right, we did the whole sentence. It's only 7 minutes so far. All we have left is the subject and the predicate. And it's super easy in this sentence. Because what is the main action of the sentence? Well, we have mourning, but it's talking about the veil of mourning. And we have buried. I think buried is the most important part. So, buried. And who did the buried? Who buried? She did. And it's okay that we don't have her name because that's not what the sentence provided for us. So the subject is she, and what she did was buried. All right. Thanks, guys.